Schuylkill County was incorporated in 1811, and though coal emerged as the county's signature resource, the local economy saw significant growth within the textile industry. This expansion occurred due to necessity. The county had previously depended on canals, but after they ceased operation, the county was left without work. Citizens began to manufacture clothing in response, which began the development of a new industry. This effort was driven by the work of various small towns, such as Pine Grove, which was incorporated on May 7, 1832, and was one of the original townships of Schuylkill County. It then contained 300 inhabitants. The main industry in Pine Grove had been lumbering until 1820, when coal began to take over. During this same time, the first tannery was established, a sign of the booming textile industry to come. Early industry in Pine Grove was driven by individual craftsmen. Instead of a family producing its own clothing, specialized professionals did the work. Tailors and shoemakers gained influence and respect, as ready-made clothing was, as of yet, unavailable. By 1880, a machine shop called Snyder & Son had manufactured the sewing machine. This signaled an emergence of clothing stores selling ready-made clothing. Individual tailors gave way to big industry.
You had a factory over in Brockton, you had factories in Schuylkill Haven, you had factories all over in the apparel industry located throughout the county doing all various kinds of t-shirts and men's shirts and anything. And in the knitting mills, what they did is they bought the cotton or whatever material and they put them on bobbins. They were called bobbins. And the bobbins went, and one string from each bobbin went up and into a machine and come on back down and did the knitting. And he was the first one that had the material that you probably had pajamas or underwear of what is called thermal wear. Thermal wear, and he had the original contract or patent for thermal wear. So anybody who did thermal wear had to go through Mr. Morgan's patent on that. And because of that, the knitting machines, they were located all over the county. There's one down in Auburn, there was one Alpha Mills in Schuylkill Haven, and the Origsburg, Fessner Mills in Origsburg, and you still have some of them around. But that's what these knitting machines did. They created their own material out of these cotton cloths or polyester, whatever they have now. All of these factories were suffering from the competition they had from China. Bobby Williamson had a factory where he did t-shirts, and he had a contract with Disney World. He did the shirts for Disney, and he went out of business probably 15, 20 years ago because the Chinese contracts, he said that he could not compete with the Chinese contracts, and that the shirts he would be making, that he could not afford 1 second because he was down right to the nitty-gritty with that.
Schuylkill County was one of the largest textile bases in the United States, and even though the industry declined after World War II, it still continues to play a major role in the economy of Pennsylvania.